Okay, welcome everyone. May is Mental Health Month. As such, today I'll be presenting a workshop on stress management. This workshop will have material to help identify stressful situations, as well as some techniques that hopefully help you reduce stress in your life. We'll provide some videos and helpful resources so you don't get bored hearing my voice. If you have questions throughout, feel free to type them in the chat and I will monitor the chat box. And I just want to thank you for attending or viewing. Let's get underway with our stress management workshop. Okay, so in today's workshop, we want to make sure we have a checklist of objectives to help guide us. In doing so, those who view will know what to expect from this presentation. First, we will define stress. This will include professional definitions as well as common or everyday definitions. In doing so, students will have better knowledge of what stress actually is. Next, we will identify some triggers that cause stress. These stressors can come from a variety of places and happen all day long. These everyday events are impossible to avoid. Even if we overlook some situations that cause stress, there are symptoms that we can notice in ourselves and others that are telltale signs of stress. Noticing these will help us help ourselves. Noticing these will help us help ourselves or help others. Also, similar to the symptoms, we'll discuss the negative effects of stress on our body, mentality, and in our lives. Clearly, these will be utilized to scare you into a stress management plan. Finally, we'll provide you with some techniques to cope with stress. These will be activities that can be done via physical activity. They will also encompass emotional and social activities as well. In the end, we hope you not only can identify stress, but also have a plan to counteract stress. And why did that not show up? Yeah, that I think that is a stress for a lot of people. That's funny, Samantha. Probably not funny. It's the truth. Okay. So what is stress? Stress is our body's response to pressure. Many different situations or life events can cause stress. It is often triggered when we experience something new, unexpected, or that threatens our sense of self, or when we feel we have little control over a situation. I know the control part is my biggest thing when you're trying to make plans um, and they just don't come through because someone else didn't do their part. That's something that always gets me. Stress is the feeling of being overwhelmed or unable to cope with mental or emotional pressure. When something bothers us, we want to be able to handle it, but can't always. Our bodies are designed to experience stress and react to it. The body's autonomic nervous system controls your heart rate, your breathing, your vision changes, and more. Its built in stress response, the fight or flight response, helps the body face stressful situations. And when you experience changes or challenges, also known as stressors, your body produces physical and mental responses. That is stress. Stress is your body's reaction to a challenge or a demand. In short bursts, stress can be positive, such as when it helps you avoid danger or meet a deadline. But when stress lasts for a long time, it may harm your health. The nice thing about stress is that we all have it. And maybe that's not nice, but it makes you feel more normal with it. Stress is a normal human reaction that happens to everyone. It is a normal part of life. It's how we cope with it and deal with it that defines us. Okay. So some of you may be saying, Derek, I don't get stressed at all. My life is great. Others may be saying, wow, Derek, you have no idea how stressful my life is. My kids are driving me nuts. But according to data provided by ResearchGate, they surveyed thousands of college students. They had findings that showed that all students experienced some levels of stress. 13% of students surveyed felt they had low levels of stress. 75% of students surveyed were experienced moderate levels of stress. And the big thing with the moderate is we don't want it to get to the high level because that is where the symptoms, the negative effects come in. And then 12% of students surveyed unfortunately had levels of stress that were high. If you total those up, that is 100% of students. So all students were experiencing some levels of stress. We do have a link here that provides a stress test that students can use. It is short, roughly 20 questions. You should answer the questions honestly to get the best results. They will ask questions regarding physical and cognitive attributes that point to stress. At the end, there is material to combat your life's stressors. You know what? That is one of the things, Samantha, that we talk about in here was the physical changes and specifically the hair loss. Let me see. I'm going to try to pull up this just so we can look at the screen real quick. So here's our stress test. Um, and it talks about, is there too much in your life? And that's a big thing. Since we all have it, if we can keep it low or even in the moderate, it can help us. But once we get to that high point, like Samantha, you've been there and you saw the physical changes that it enacted. I think we've all been anger. We've had angry outbursts when we get to high levels. And the quiz is quick. Like I said, 16 questions um, or 20, around 20 questions. So real quick, real easy, something to look at. Okay. Come on. All right. Next are these stressors. So life is full of scenarios that lead to stressful situations. These events that are stressful can happen anywhere. Triggers of stress can be at school. Examples of these stressful situations can be, am I going to pass my class? Am I going to get my assignment done on time? Or is my group going to get all parts of our project done? As a college student, you will have stressful situations each and every week. Triggers can be experienced within your family. I think sometimes because we consider these the people we love, sometimes these stressors can hurt even more. So examples of these stressors can be, who will watch my kids while I'm at work or school? My spouse and I are always fighting, or my kid got in trouble again. Triggers of stress can be at work. Examples of this location for stress can be, I have too much work to do. My boss is a jerk to me, or I can't do the work my manager is asking me to do. Triggers of stress can be about finances. Examples of these financial stressors are, I don't have enough money to pay my bills. How am I supposed to support my family? Or I have debt I can't pay off. And triggers of stress can be about health. Examples of these stressors are, I'm always sick, I can't get rid of this cough, or my parent has cancer. These situations are everyday instances that happen to everyone. Stress does not discriminate. It pops up and rears its ugly head to everyone. Knowing what causes stress in our lives can aid us in combating against the negative effects that stress can have. So I'm going to check the chat real well. I was going to check the chat real quick. There we go. It is not popping up. Samantha, I'll get to it next time. Okay. Uh, there are signs or symptoms of stress. These can appear in different areas of your life. They not only will be in our mental or emotional lives, but also display in the physical realm. Samantha, this is perfect when you said when you were extremely stressful and you had the hair loss. That obviously is a physical um, attribute, symptom of stress. Some physical symptoms of stress are shown through weight gain or weight loss, fatigue, headaches, cold hands or feet, diarrhea, nausea, neck aches, muscle pain, upset stomach, perspiration, and loss of sleep. I think the big one for me is the weight gain, weight loss, and loss of sleep. I can tell when I'm Stress because I'll throw on 10 pounds or I'll lose 10 pounds quickly. And then my sleep habits are just awful at times. On the mental side, some of the symptoms of stress include poor concentration, memory loss, forgetfulness, decreased decision making, limited attention span, irrational thinking, paranoia, or errors and accidents. And for me, the paranoia and errors and accidents seem to be the two there. When I'm stressed and something bad happens, I may say, oh, geez, my boss has it out for me, uh, just giving me that assignment because they don't like me. When in all reality, it's not the case. Or I'll notice I'm stressed and I try to get things done quickly, which leads to errors in work or accidents, at home, uh, that sort of thing. So those two are the ones that I notice in the mental. So some behavioral symptoms of stress can be the most obvious. These symptoms are shown through anger, compulsive overeating, withdrawal from social groups or activities, emotional outbursts, absenteeism or lateness to work or school, changes in sleep patterns, relationship problems with loved ones or friends, irritability, and increased smoking, drinking, or drug use. Uh, for me, I mean, the big ones there are the sleep patterns again. I mean, how many people probably have had those days where they just didn't want to get out of bed because they were depressed or stressed? Um, and then I do overeat at times. Um, I'm stressed, so I'm going to go to McDonald's and spend about $20 on 15 burgers and just eat them all, which I do. But so those are the things that happen to me. Um, Now we're going to watch a short video on stress warning signs. I'm hoping that we can get this with the sound. So bear with me one second. Sound.
What are stress warning signs? There are a variety of signals that indicate when you are under stress. When you learn to recognize them, you can take action. If you have physical symptoms, they might show up as trouble sleeping or headaches, heartburn or stomach ache, tight neck or shoulders, racing heart, maybe grinding your teeth. If you have emotional symptoms, you might notice nervousness or anger, loneliness, sadness, feeling pressured, or feeling bored. When you have behavioral symptoms, you might notice excessive drinking or eating, smoking, watching TV, playing video games, gum chewing, being critical of others, or trouble getting things done. And when you have cognitive symptoms, you might feel forgetful, have brain fog, a loss of sense of humor, or trouble making decisions. Most people have more than just one symptom, and many find that their symptoms cluster under one or two categories. It might be helpful to think about your symptoms and what categories they fall into.
So as we can see, oh, you know what? I was gonna say, better make sure. There were a lot of signs. There are a lot of things that she stated that we talked about, but also some additional ones that may be in your life. A couple of them were weird though, right? I mean, video games and chewing gum, especially. I didn't see those as symptoms of stress, but hey, I guess they are. Um, okay, so the effects of stress are similar to the symptoms of stress. As these symptoms show themselves, these effects are negative in nature. They're in the areas of physical, mental, and behavioral. First, I would be remiss to not mention that not all stress is bad. Moderate levels of stress can increase levels of efficiency and performance. Eustress, or positive stress, can help us work towards goals and stay motivated. I think for college students, especially, they may have a project or an assignment that they are stressed about, but it fuels them. It could be say a 10-page paper at the end of the semester, and it fuels you throughout the semester to make sure you put your best work in. Some of the negative effects of stress include weight loss or weight gain, that lack of motivation or procrastination, high blood pressure, exercising less often, mood swings, weak immune system that can lead to further health complications, anxiety, change or loss of sex drive. Stress can lead to depression, gambling. Stress can lead to unhealthy coping, such as smoking or alcohol or drug use or binge eating or lack of eating, panic attacks, or sleep complications. These negative effects caused by stress will build on one another and lead to further complications, especially like that weak immune system or lack of sleep. It just piles on top of one after another. Getting stress under control and having a stress management plan is vital. Okay. And you're always such a good, there we go. You're always a good participant, Samantha. So I got to check the book. Yeah. Yup. Good for you for exercising every day. I wish I did. Um, Fortunately, there are a lot of techniques to cope with stress. These can be in the form of physical activities, emotional changes, or social adjustments. Almost any form of exercise or movement can increase your fitness level while decreasing your stress. The most important thing is to pick an activity that you enjoy. For physical activities, walking, playing sports, yoga, cycling, dancing, Pilates, gardening, jogging, swimming, or weight training are all great activities to reduce stress. Physical activity reduces cortisol levels. That's your body's stress hormone. Getting active and breaking a sweat causes your body to produce endorphins, which helps your body and mind relax. You can expect better sleep, a clear mind, and an improved mood thanks to stress relieving workout sessions. You do? I, I have heard nothing but good things about what Pilates does for you, and I just can't do it. Probably 'cause I'm not flexible enough. I don't know. Emotional coping techniques, while not as physically demanding, can be just as beneficial when combating stress. Emotion focused coping techniques aid you in becoming less emotionally reactive to the stressors you face. Journaling, having a time management plan, creating boundaries, such as when you're available or what you're willing to do, positive affirmation, like finding the bright side of every situation, meditation, building resiliency by knowing change is unavoidable or becoming more optimistic in situations, and having a positive self image are all ways to emotionally cope with stress. I know these can be tough. Specifically, if you're depressed, it's harder to have these emotionally uh, active things. You don't want to see the bright side. It is hard to see the bright side. I know journaling is great for that. Just the getting the negative thought out through your hand into the pen and onto paper is a great way to relieve stress. Um, I know these can be tough, but letting these emotions fill you with positivity or taking control of what you actually can control will reduce the stress in your life and decrease how stressors affect you and your body. This is part of why emotion focused coping can be quite valuable. Shifting how we experience potential stressors in our lives can reduce their negative impact. With emotion focused coping, we don't need to wait for our lives to change or work on changing the inevitable. We can simply find ways to accept what we face right now and not let it bother us. As a quick example, I remember I was working at a different college, say it was 45 minutes away. Um, didn't enjoy that. And instead of at the beginning, and I complained about the drive. And then I started to use it as a time to listen to uplifting music, uplifting podcasts, and it just completely changed. It was something I looked forward to. So that change in mindset really helped, instead of seeing something negative, using it as a positive. Okay, lastly, social activities can help us reduce stress in our lives. Some social activities include seeking counseling. Dr. Carissa Henry on our TRIO Scholar staff is an amazing counselor who is free for you to speak with. Make time to call or talk with friends and family who care and love us. Be assertive about what you want and what you can handle. Even going offline, take time away from screens to decompress. Schedule me time that includes favorite activities with your favorite people. Play with your pet. They have healing powers. And get a hug. The physical touch from a loved one can reduce stress. These activities decrease a sense of loneliness while promoting feelings of safety, security, belonging, and enjoyment. Now let's watch a short video on stress management techniques. I think with this one, there are no words. There is some music, but we'll get in. We'll check that out. Okay. I want to provide you with some resources for stress management. The first is a service provided by the TRIO Scholars Program and is free to you. Our licensed counselor on staff is Dr. Carissa Henry. Dr. Henry, or Carissa to many of you, is an amazing resource. She speaks on a regular basis to many students. She always has a listening ear and many helpful hints. There's no better resource for stress management than speaking with Dr. Carissa Henry. There are a few websites as well that will provide you with stress management techniques. The first, from Wake Forest University, is great because it has a school stress management for all aged learners. Not only is this good for you, but also for your family who may be in school but at a different level than you. They start all the way down to kindergarten and go up through graduate school. Next is from Purdue University Global, which is specifically for college students. It has visuals and data that help make the material the most comprehensible. And then also from Learn Psychology, is how to survive stress and anxiety in college, but it also goes beyond. So this is not only great for college students, but also the workplace and for a family member. So lastly, I'd like to show a short video that is on the overview of stress and stress management.
Stress is a normal physical response to events that make you feel threatened or upset in some way. Stressors can be a real physical danger, such as a fire, or a daily upset of life like job stress or financial worry. Our body's reaction to stress can take a toll on our health if not managed. In response to stress, your nervous system releases a flood of stress hormones, including two called adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart pounds faster, muscles tighten, blood pressure rises, breath quickens, and senses become sharper. If you have a lot of responsibilities and worries, your stress may be on most of the time. The more your body's stress system is activated, the harder it is to shut off. Chronic stress can have devastating effects on your health. Did you know that 90% of all diseases are caused or complicated by stress? Chronic stress can also have physical symptoms such as aches and pains, trouble sleeping, and chest pains. Check out these tips that are easy to incorporate into your daily routine to help manage stress. Movement can greatly slow your body's response to stress. Regular aerobic exercise reduces levels of stress hormones in the body as well as stimulates production of endorphins, which act as the body's natural mood elevators. Take a walk and do some simple stretches. Another way of reducing stress quickly is by using your senses: what you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Look through your favorite photo album. Smell a specific scent you love. Listen to music. Hug a pet. All these simple activities can immediately help your stress levels decrease. Besides sensory, here are some more tips to help cope with stress in your life. Manage your time. Prioritize important tasks and those that can wait. Manage commitments and reduce procrastination. Take time for pleasurable activities such as gardening or sharing time with friends. Get enough rest or sleep. Most adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Not getting enough sleep can increase feelings of stress through less patience and increased agitation. While we cannot get rid of stress entirely, following these easy tips can help you manage it. Health Texas also provides a patient education course on stress management. Talk with your doctor today on how to take it.
Okay. And lastly, if you have any questions regarding stress or stress management, I'd recommend reaching out to our TRIO Scholars licensed counselor, Dr. Carissa Henry. As stated before, Carissa is an amazing wealth of knowledge and is completely free service to students in the TRIO Scholars program. You can also reach out to your TRIO Scholars academic counselor. I want to thank you for attending or viewing today's workshop. I hope you not only learned more about stress, but more importantly, you are able to utilize some of the techniques or trigger information to get a better handle on the stress that we all face in our everyday lives. So let me